So now we've managed to get our wetsuit on and we're happy with the fit and everything's in the right place. We then need to get into the water. Now, one of the common mistakes people don't realise you're meant to do when you get a wetsuit on when you first get into the water is something called pre-flooding. So pre-flooding is really there to help the wetsuit do its job, because the wetsuit only really works when it's got a thin layer of water trapped. And this comes into why sizing and fitting of a wetsuit is really, really important, because if your suit's too big, that water is just going to keep recycling and cold water is going to keep coming out. If you've got a nice seal on the wrist, the neck and the ankles, any water that comes in initially is then going to get trapped in there. So pre-flooding is basically the exercise when you get into the water, usually the bit where you'll hear people screaming when they first do it. So basically when you first get into the water, now there is a kind of cheat you can do to this, especially if you're doing, say, a triathlon, and you might not get a chance to get into the water before the start of the swim, and you want to make sure that wetsuit's got some water in there. You can just get a bottle of water. I would always recommend filling up with some mild warm water. Don't be freezing, and certainly obviously don't go boiling water. But something that's just maybe tap water kind of is enough. Just basically do this, open up the neck seal, and just pour that water in there. Some of it will leak out the bottom initially. You don't even need to use the whole bottle, just as much as probably enough. Now what I'm going to do is pull the suit up, make sure it seals on my neck, around my wrist, and around my ankles. That water that was in the bottle is now trapped inside my suit. There's a really thin layer of water that is going to now start to heat up with my body temperature, and that's what's going to keep you warm in the open water, especially when it's cold water swims. The next stage we can do, and obviously if you can get in the water, it's better because you get used to the actual temperature, is we get into the sea or into the lake or the loch. What we do with this is we basically just open up the neck seal, we crouch down, let the water come in, stand back up. And sometimes actually you're better to get out of the water again, walk around for a couple of minutes. Your body heats that water up within sort of 30-40 seconds. When you come back into the water, it feels like it's much warmer just because your body's had a chance to heat that layer of water in the suit up. And that's what's going to keep you warm in the event or just in swims generally. So that's one we'd always recommend doing.